Hey guys, Wednesday night in the Motomotion shop. We're working away on the CRF450L Rally project. Please give us a like and a subscribe if you like what's going on. We'd love to hear your comments and suggestions. If you see something that you would do differently, let's discuss it. I'm completely open to ideas. Like I said, I'm a rookie rally builder, so I'm trying to learn and do the best job I can. You might notice we're missing the dash, and that is for good reason. I left the handguards set up the way they had to be to clear the dash, and I wasn't happy with them being asymmetrical, and I wasn't happy with them not being straight out, protecting my hands. I know some people are afraid about getting their hands caught in these. I've been using them for years. I haven't yet, knock on wood, that would be my head. Anyways, didn't like it. So here's what we've come up with. This is a bracket that I've quickly made up. It's just in rough form. I've taken the bracket from the MST system, and this is what we're going to end up with. We're going to end up with this plate here. It's going to hold the dash up and away. It's also going to double as my switch holder for the ignition switch, as well as the switch for the tower. The tower, I haven't decided how I'm going to run the electrics. It is going to have an F2R box on it, thanks to Rally Moto Shop, a power distribution box. We're going to work with that, and as well as a couple other things. I want to see how that's going to be wired first before I decide whether I put a relay in it or not. So that's going to be a pretty simple bracket. It's going to have one large hole through it for the wiring, and sorry, we've got a little bit of noise going on in the background. The guys are still fighting the forest fire in the back. Luckily, it's not as bad as California's. All the best to the people in California who are being affected by that monster fire. Wish you the best, guys. We're just going to, for mounting this, I'm just going to build some spacers that go into these. So basically that bolt is going to come up. It's going to flush mount these bolts. That way it's going to be a combination of holding the dash and holding the switch plate all in one. Still I can reach underneath it and get to the steering damper. It's going to be a little bit crowded in here getting the wiring through, so I'm probably going to run the wiring out to one side for the switches. All them switches. The other advantage of this, doing it this way, is going to be, hopefully you'll see later on, that it's going to remove this rat's nest from the tower itself. This is that neat bracket I was talking about. It ties in with the motor mounts. Don't forget, when you do this, use your manual, tighten it to the factory specs. Your motor mounts on this bike are very important to the handling. You want to use the factory specs. If you look up Champion Adventures and Colton, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your last name, Udall, I believe. He has other specs that are available to change the handling of this bike a bit. But on this bracket, again, powder coat was left in here. This here is the only thing they show you for instructions. Now, unfortunately, all I have is a laser printer, so it prints it in grayscale, so it's not very detailed. But they show the two engine mounts. This is the way they come. These are the stock bolts for the motor mounts. You can see they're the same length. These are the bolts that MST sent. I don't know if this was a mistake or not, because the heads are all different, and they're not the same bolt even close. As you can see, there's a 20 to 30 mil difference in length. What this shows is this guy, and I'm going to have to use the longer bolt in both motor mounts because the shorter bolt doesn't stick through the frame. So it shows this guy in the upper hole. That's not a big deal. It would be nice if it had a locator or something, but that's minor. It's probably good that it doesn't, because every bike is a little bit different. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of adjustment. I'm not sure if this angle is right yet. This is kind of a minor thing. If we come over to the other side, we got some major surgery to do. I'm not sure whether you can see the step in here. I'm not sure what that step is for, whether they just, when they CNC'd it, the program didn't finish that. But this is your left side. You see I have the water the water pump inlet, output disconnected. So the other one goes in the top side, so this one's got to go in the bottom side. As you can see, the water pump don't fit anymore. So you can see it right here. You can see how far off I am. You know, I've been working fairly hard to get this set up so nothing touches anything, so we can go through the interior of BC and Mexico and all the stupid stuff I'm going to do to it without any rubbing issues. And this one's going to be fun. I'm going to try to put this in my chuck on my lathe so I can turn it down, because it's pretty important that you keep this straight. So what's going to happen is, put that guy back in place for now. This guy is going to have to come in, I'd say, to make me happy, a good 30 mil. So that's going to come in 30 mil, which will make it so it's nice and free and clear. You're still going to have to take this off to put it on and off the bike. Not a huge deal. What is a huge deal is we now have changed the location of the lower tank bracket. So we've moved that in. Whatever we take off here gets taken off here as well. So when I get this done, what I'm going to have to do is make a collar. I'm going to make a Durling or plastic collar, if you like. It's going to go over this. It's going to take up the distance. You're going to see, when you see it when it's done, it's going to be quite large compared to this, because I'm going to use the molding. If we go over to the tanks here, you see the way the tanks are molded. They have this here. What that is for a Durling support. That's what it's for. This one doesn't have one. I'm kind of surprised. I'm actually going to use rubber on that one. But I'm going to make the Durling support deep enough to hold that. It's also, it's going to have an internal step. So it goes onto this, but it won't go any further than this. So when you're compressing, you're going to compress the whole thing together. Pretty disappointed that they let this out of the factory this way. This should not be this way. I think I'm going to work on the handlebars for a little bit longer tonight, because I don't have the bolts. I should, but I don't carry bolts this long in the shop. I will from now on. But I can't do anything until I do some machining. So what I'm going to have to do is get this one and this one locked in. So these two are your fixed points, and this will be your triangulation point. And what I showed before is this is the Y piece that's going to have to be changed. This guy, I'm actually going to move it in here, so it's a little bit of a risky move because it's right up against the rad then, but or pretty close to the rad. But that's what's going to happen to make this fit. This bracket, I might actually carve this down here, because right now it's pressing up against the whole frame. I'm not sure if that's, I'm going to have to talk to the guys at MST and see if that's what they meant to happen. If they're preloading the bracket that way, probably what I'm going to do is put some EVA foam on the back side to protect the welds and protect the frame. It should compress down where it's not going to change my alignment that much, if at all. But we have another couple nights work ahead of us just to make these brackets fit. How am I supposed to get my foot in there? That skid plate's too wide. Are you filming? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So just moving the bracket a bit, we're going to have to trim. I think this is all going to have to come out to get this skid plate in here. Because it's so far away from it. I'm fairly close to the frame now. So not sure how to put this, but it doesn't follow the front of the frame. The tank's on here loose, but as I've raised the skid plate up, the tank is basically come right off the post. So, now the instructions they sent me don't show mounting the skid plate at all. The instructions end at the mounting of the brackets for the skid plate. Now, every skid plate I've ever done, and I've been doing them for years, for different people, different bikes, different brands, everything. This isn't cool. How do you get your foot under there to shift? So, which means you've got to cut this down to there and probably taper it back to the frame, because you're going to run into some big issues otherwise. We'll just get rid of that. Throw that guy in there as a placeholder. Try to put the tank in. You know, I know the tank is supposed to go on before the skid plate, but the skid plate won't even fit. The tank doesn't fit inside. I'm perplexed. I don't know. You know, to get this tank to sit all the way down on this post. There, sitting all the way down now. So now it's sitting back up against the frame. That hole is half the way off, so we're going to have to figure that out. To get this plate to fit, like to get that line to follow that line, I just lost 2 inches of ground clearance, which means that skid plate ain't going to last. And it's sitting like that. The frame, it actually follows the frame. Okay, but it's a good increment. You can see how far away from the frame it is, and if you know how skid plates work, they reinforce they absorb impact by transferring it into the frame, and you're not going to transfer that. The only thing I can think of is maybe they built this skid plate to handle the 3 liters of water underneath, but it's still a good 2 inches away from the frame on the front. Let's go over to the other side. So that's side 1. Side 2. So I'm up against the clutch cover, or no, sorry, I'm just up against the water pump, but I'm up against the boss for the water pump. I'm still half an inch away from getting this in the frame, and it's still not all the way down. Now that's all the way down there. Mary and Joseph, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to have to, I don't know. I don't want to. There's just so many clearance issues and nothing fits. I think this is going to be a call to MST. Hopefully we can get Manuel. I'll try to, I'll let him know, but I'm going to try to record the phone call. We'll see if he can help. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand what's going on, but in my mind, that's got to sit at least out there. Also, if you come in here, you can see this motor mount. You see this now. Once I get this, without shrinking it, I'm still a good 2 inches away from the fuel tank. I'm gonna have to see if maybe the R water pump outlet is different. I know it is because actually I know it's quite different because the R, this hose doesn't exist. So I don't know if he's got different tanks for the R versus the L and a different skid plate for the R versus the L, but without a lot of work, this isn't going to fit. So I either have to figure out a new skid plate and hold this away. This is going to have to be shrunk here, built out here. So my first thought is drill that through, get rid of the threads, build an aluminum spacer to bring that out, and then run the Durling washer on top of that. This is not a bolt-on kit, kids. I'm not even going to call this a half-complete kit. It's got some cool parts. Again, I'm going to have to make a phone call to MST and see what they have to say about all this, because it's pretty frustrating right now. I guess that's it for tonight. I'll go to work on the handlebars. Maybe I'll figure that out, because even if I don't run these tanks, I'm still going to rally this bike. So we might have to figure something out. Otherwise, this is my rally bike. Period. So hopefully we'll have some resolutions for you on the next video. That's about it for this segment. Okay, final segment for tonight. I have the new dash roughed in. Basically, I've raised it up from the handlebars to get some room for the electric switches that will be there. I haven't got them laid out yet, but they will be laid out by the next time you see it. Right now, there's just some washers and a spacer underneath here just to give me a space holder so I know exactly how thick I want to make the spacers and the inserts for the risers. Dash is still rubber mounted. It's working quite nicely sitting there. You'll see what the plan is for the front as we go along. The tanks, I've given a message to, or sent a message over to MST. Hopefully they'll get back to me in the morning. We'll figure out what's going on there, how we can improve the tank situation. We're going to keep on building other parts of the bike while we wait for that response. But for now, this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Rally Moto Shop, Fastway, and of course Champion Adventures for the different parts and the advice that they've been giving me. I really appreciate the help. Again, give us a like, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel as we go forward with this and other builds. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.